pause for a moment, my dearest child, and feel the weight of the words I am about to say. Your presence left even me speechless. My child, do you understand the significance of that? I, who knew every thought before it was spoken, who created the mountains and commanded the seas, who sees the beginning and end. Last season, your gaze moved me so deeply that you have no idea how much it affected me. The enemy sought to subdue you not because of your perfection or lack of flaws, but because of the information they learned about you. Please refrain from scrolling. Please do not delay. It is critical that the truth be revealed at this time. If you rush through this moment, you risk missing out on the news that heaven has in store for you. This is not enjoyable. This isn't an error. This isn't just another message. This is a divine interruption of your plans. I intended to use this as a conclusion. I deliberately directed your steps to this location. I purposefully allowed your gaze to rest on this moment. A fascinating discovery has been made about you in the spiritual realm. Heaven was watching over your heart, despite the fact that you were preoccupied with ensuring your survival and getting through the day. Angels watched as you persevered. The enemy kept a close eye on you and hoped that you would be defeated. However, the contents of your body astounded everyone, even those who had previously dismissed your claims. You were chosen to receive this information, despite the fact that 99% of people will never hear it. Not because you are better than others, or because you completed all of the necessary steps correctly. Your heart has demonstrated its ability to receive revelation without fear or pride. There are many people who want the truth, but few are capable of accepting it. Many people want to be selected. However, few are willing to go through the rigorous selection process. You persisted. You are not representative of the majority of people. You are not an unfamiliar person. Your arrival on this planet was not accidental. I imbued you with an impervious force from the moment you were created. There is a depth to you that you may not fully grasp. You have a surprising level of resilience. You possessed an inner strength that refused to give way when faced with adversity. That refusal was not a sign of stubbornness. I placed the strength there a long time ago before you were born. This moment was meticulously planned. I knew there would come a time when I'd tell you the truth before your first breath, mistake, or disappointment. I anticipated that you would eventually question your significance, calling, and worth. I was also aware that I would eventually reveal the information I had been withholding about you. If you ignore this, heaven may take longer to reveal your true identity. I am not making a threat. I'd like to extend an invitation to you. Please keep a forward stance. Do not dismiss this as an emotion. Do not assume that it is a coincidence. You asked that I be explicit. I was asked to demonstrate your true self to you. I'll now respond. I will inform you of the information discovered about you and why it is significant to the current situation. Initially, you must silence the voice that says this can't be about you. Indeed, it applies to you. You who nearly gave up, but eventually persevered. You who wept in private, but were kind to everyone else. You chose to be honest despite not feeling included. You persevered despite your vulnerability. Despite the fact that everything else had broken, I couldn't say anything because your core was still intact. When betrayal approached, you chose not to be transformed into the very thing that caused you pain. When the delay forced you to wait for an extended period of time, you avoided using profanity toward me. Despite the deceptions of loneliness, you have not completely abandoned the concept of hopelessness. Your faith appeared frail at night, and despair nearly consumed you. Despite your belief that you were barely surviving, you were always drawn back to me by a deeper force. Heaven was keeping track of how much effort you put in. While you thought no one was watching, I was meticulously examining your heart. The discovery I made was unusual. It was unique, but not flawless or perfect. I discovered loyalty after convenience was removed. I encountered a faith that was fleeting but unwavering. I learned to be humble at a time when I could have felt very proud. I saw compassion in you even after you were injured. That combination happens very rarely. This is why the majority of people will never face this truth. Many people give up because of pain. When confronted with a challenge, many people feel angry. Many people leave when there is an excessive amount of silence. However, you did not really leave. You were under the impression that your insignificant actions were meaningless. You had the impression that no one could notice your silent obedience. You believed that remaining calm in the face of a strong desire to respond demonstrated vulnerability. However, it was a challenging experience. It has reached you. It was an indication that something deeper was developing within you. In form, I boldly maintain my faith. You are not like the majority of people if you believe every promise he has made to you throughout your life. You are burdened with spiritual significance. There is an action you have yet to recognize. The enemy was aware of it before your discovery. This explains why the attacks appeared to be targeted at specific individuals. This is why the pressure was so intense. This is why hopelessness attempts to envelop you like a dense cloud. He wished for you to forget your identity before discovering it. However, what I've instilled in you is impervious to adversity. You cannot erase the indelible impression I have left on your soul as a result of disappointment. This past season, it was discovered that you have the stamina to handle additional responsibilities. You have a humble demeanor and are capable of accepting blessings. Your depth has the potential to produce a revelation. The truth must be revealed immediately, as it is critical that you are aware of your identity ahead of the upcoming season. You cannot progress if you believe you are insignificant. You can't carry the gift I'm about to give you if you believe you're not important. Please do not delay. Avoid scrolling away from the call. There is no need to conceal one's identity. The purpose of this truth is not to boost your self-esteem. It is intended to boost your confidence in me. Even I was speechless by your actions, my child. Not as a result of your performance, but because of your diligence. You successfully navigated a situation designed to silence you. The experience you had was designed to demonstrate your vulnerability. Instead of collapsing entirely, you developed stronger roots. Next, I will reveal information that will change your perspective on the past, present, and future. The truth about you can no longer be hidden. Once you've gained this knowledge, your outlook on yourself will be forever changed. My beloved child, I will now reveal the information that was discovered about you in the unseen realm, as you have been living this season unaware that it is being investigated. Heaven was keeping a close eye on your heart as you went about your daily activities and tried to remain calm. Your heart, the most profound part of yourself that you thought no one could see. Not your public status, success, or appearance. When everything else was silent, I looked into your heart. When my prayers did not seem to be answered, I looked into it. I considered the situation where people you trusted betrayed you. I looked beyond your outward reactions to determine your true emotions. And the discovery there made the heavens tremble. You believed you were on the verge of success. You saw yourself as weak. You believed that your tears showed your vulnerability. Heaven, on the other hand, discovered something else while closely examining you. Your strength was concealed within you. Not a loud or proud force, but a quiet yet impenetrable strength. Your core did not disintegrate as the pressure rose. It curved. It shook slightly but did not fully break. Despite your uncertainty, you kept whispering my name. You still looked for me, despite the fact that you thought I had abandoned you. Your perseverance revealed a unique side of yourself. Loyalty under pressure caught the enemy off guard. He had anticipated that you would leave immediately. He anticipated that your sorrow would turn to rage. He believed that your perplexity would lead to rebellion. In contrast, you tolerated your discomfort by remaining attached to me. He was surprised by that. He observed your weaknesses and concluded that you would be unable to recover if you fell too far. However, you didn't. You are unaware of the extent to which your actions are being monitored. Every instance in which you chose to remain calm rather than enraged was significant. Every time you chose patience over anger, it made a significant difference. It was significant each time you chose honesty over compromise, even if it would have been easier to give. These weren't minor incidents. They showcased your profound spirituality. Oh, your faith was demonstrated in difficult circumstances. Prior to this season, you thought your faith was not particularly strong because of the emotional impact it had on you. However, faith is not determined by one's emotions. Rather, it is measured by the length of one's conviction. So, despite the shaking, your faith remained unwavering in the absence of happiness and comfort. Faith that was in turmoil remained faith. You persisted in your prayers despite the delay in responses. So, despite the lack of substantial evidence, you kept your faith. Despite the perceived risk, you persisted in your search for hope. That revealed your true emotions. Genuine faith differs from performance faith or religion. You wept on certain nights, which made you feel vulnerable. However, heaven does not recognize vulnerability. Individuals surrendered before heaven. Your exertions caused you to feel exhausted at times. Heaven did not witness any individual's failure. Heaven noticed your perseverance. You occasionally inquired about my thoughts, but you never cursed me throughout the process. The connection was not disrupted. Despite the difficulties, you chose to remain. My dear child, your perseverance caused heaven to move. This is not a fabrication. People in the unseen world took notice when you remained faithful, even in the most difficult circumstances. Your spirit was honored when you refused to give up completely. Individuals did not show enthusiasm. Your heart was empty of joy. Nonetheless, there was acknowledgement. We would appreciate your assistance with our channel. Our goal is to grow your faith in God and brighten your life. If you wish, you may make a contribution to us through Super Thanks. You were unaware of your spiritual development. You spent a lot of time thinking about your lack of possessions. You compared yourself to others who appeared to be more confident, assertive, and louder. You thought you were lagging. You felt vulnerable as a result of your substantial fall. You could see the extent of your growth from the outside, but not from the inside. Initially, growth is often difficult to detect. Fruit does not appear in sunlight until the roots have developed. Your roots were especially strengthened during the most difficult times. You learned to rely on me rather than on cheers. You learned to seek my opinion rather than the approval of others. You learned to endure discomfort without immediately rising. That is the essence of spiritual maturity, which was quietly growing within you. Because the pain was so severe, you assumed that you were weak. However, being sensitive does not imply weakness. It has profundity. It indicates that your heart is still beating as a result of the disappointment you felt. You are open about your faith because you face doubt rather than dismiss it. Your tears, rather than your attempts to conceal them, indicate that you were thinking about how to change your behavior. Heaven noticed the strength in your heart, which you mistakenly saw as weakness. It discovered loyalty when you assumed people were exhausted. It discovered humility in an environment where pride could have grown. It expressed concern for you even after you had been injured. You are unusual in a spiritual sense. Consider that truth for a while. At the moment, I'd like you to participate in an activity that appears simple, but has significant spiritual significance. Please provide me with one word in the comments section. You only need one word to acknowledge and adopt this truth as your own, rather than simply reciting the Amen to show your agreement with this revelation. As you write this sentence, imagine agreeing with heaven's pronouncements about your true nature. You are not injured. We've not forgotten about you. You are unusual in a spiritual sense. Your Amen should rise as proof that you will never see yourself the same way again. You are extremely unusual in a spiritual context. You saw yourself as weak. Rare because of your tenacity in the face of adversity. Rare because you endured pain without expressing malice. Rare because you successfully completed the examination without abandoning your faith. When things are going well, a lot of people may compliment me. Many people are able to express their opinions when they see blessings. However, this comfort is fleeting, and silence lasts for an extended period, or disappointment is profound. Numerous people withdraw. You did not withdraw completely. Even though you recoiled in disbelief, you did not abandon me. The enemy saw your tears as proof of your defeat. However, heaven saw your tears and recognized your fortitude. The enemy believed that stress would permanently incapacitate you. However, the pressure revealed the extent of your abilities. No, it was unclear to you how you gained intelligence. You started to notice small details that you had previously overlooked. You developed the ability to recognize when a statement was false. You began to trust my gentle touches over the boisterous voices around you. That development occurred in areas that no one observed. You were unaware of the extent to which your humility had grown. You used to believe that shouting was necessary to defend yourself. However, this season taught you the value of remaining silent. You realized you could trust me with your name. This is the definition of strength. You were unable to see the extent to which your compassion grew as a result of your injury. You learned how to understand people who are going through a difficult time. You stopped being unkind and instead showed compassion. This is the essence of spiritual maturity. Heaven, my beloved child, observed your heart and identified an unusual phenomenon. A spirit that would not completely disconnect, rather than perfection or faultless behavior. A heart that kept returning. A person with an unwavering spirit. You thought you were insecure. You are unusual in a spiritual sense. Everything has changed as a result of this information. Because uncommon items have a high value. Rare items are assigned more responsibility. Rare items are meticulously kept. The experience you underwent had the potential to strengthen you. Shutting up could have been a possible outcome of your situation. Despite your reservations, you kept contacting me. That is why I reiterate it. Your words rendered me speechless. It's not like I was unaware of your abilities. It was lovely to watch it unfold under pressure. You're more resilient than you realize. You are more complex than you realize. Better than you're aware. You're prepared. Given that the truth has been revealed, it is critical that you change your self-image. Do not refer to yourself as weak anymore. Avoid asserting your vulnerability. Don't believe you're falling behind. You are unusual in a spiritual sense. You persisted. I noticed you continued to stay. You underwent changes that were not obvious to you. The heavens have observed this. I will now reveal the reason for the long-standing concealment of this information about you, my beloved child. I contacted you because you asked why I hadn't contacted you earlier. Why did I allow you to wander around in uncertainty? How I kept certain revelations from you while you searched for answers. You assumed I was reserved due to my lack of proximity. You believed I was lying to you because you were not good enough. However, the reality is more complex and requires careful consideration. Timing is critical in revelation. Some truths are therapeutic, while others are overwhelming. It is possible to have revelations that increase the size of things as well as their strength. If I had told you this information before the shaping, stretching, and quiet battles, it would not have resulted in the same level of strength as it does now. It had the potential to boost their level of pride. It had the potential to instill fear in people. It had the potential to divert your attention away from the necessary tasks. When I first told you, you may not have realized the scope of your uniqueness, the depth of your spirit, or the enormous responsibility that your life entails. It is possible that you tried to complete the task instead of abandoning it. It's possible you were looking for recognition rather than personal development. You may have started an effort to protect an identity that you weren't yet ready to carry. My child, even the smallest gestures show pride. Not all situations call for yelling. It occasionally communicates. Praise may develop gradually if it is given prematurely. If I had disclosed this information before your development of humility, you might have thought you were superior to others. You could have used comparison to judge yourself instead of compassion, which would have been far more damaging to your spirit than anything else. However, fear can also stymie progress. If I had revealed this information before you gained courage, you might have declined. It is possible that you thought, "That cannot be me." You may have felt a sense of responsibility and been forced to withdraw into fear. You may have reservations about your ability to transport the items I provided. This is why I prepared your heart first. Always, preparation comes before revelation. I was obligated to help you achieve stability. It was important to me that you felt vulnerable and dependent. I had to instill in you a sense of vulnerability in order to show that my strength comes from me rather than you. The test had to be completed prior to exposure. Exposure can be harmful in the absence of a foundation. When pressure is applied to an uncompleted structure, it collapses. I was quietly fortifying your inner strength while you were unaware. I was trying to sharpen your senses, test your patience, and instill a sense of humility in you. A substantial amount of construction was underway. You assumed that the examination was only about your endurance. However, it also evaluated your readiness. Willingness to share the truth without altering it. Accepting approval without arrogance. Ready to respond to phone calls without anxiety. Quietness guaranteed my safety. I require that you hear it. Quietness guaranteed my safety. I refrained from publicly confirming you immediately to ensure that you were not subjected to external pressure that you were not prepared to face. When I didn't give you all of the information at once, I kept you from attracting attention that could have diverted your focus. In order to help you develop, I may have kept some information from you. You felt overlooked at times, but you were still developing. At times, you felt ignored. However, you were developing in secret. The strength of growth that occurs in silence exceeds that which occurs when people cheer. I refrained from disclosing this information earlier due to your lack of preparedness. Not because you were unworthy, but because you were unprepared. It is necessary to be mature in order to communicate revelation. Stability is essential for preserving one's identity. Humility is essential for having a calling. You see, revelation changes your way of walking. Once you've determined your identity, your actions change. Your standards rise. Compromise becomes increasingly difficult for you. You develop a better understanding of the concept of responsibility. If the transition occurred too soon and your character was unprepared for it, it could have been overwhelming. Before understanding capacity, one needed to have had the experience of being limited. Before you could understand the importance of timing, you had to be. To comprehend strength, weakness had to be experienced first. That sequence was deliberate. Prior to disclosing your true identity, I had to eliminate certain elements. I was forced to stop relying on validation. I was forced to abandon the practice of seeking approval before following instructions. I felt compelled to remove certain attachments that would have slowed your progress after you had made it. After I revealed this truth to you, you may have attempted to validate it rather than embody it. It's possible you tried to persuade people rather than just entering. Your identity may have become a spectacle, which was not my intention. Identity is not a prominent feature of my personality. It remains constant. It is unnecessary to continue defending it. It is unnecessary to confirm it on a regular basis. It was necessary for your heart to be at peace in order for this truth to be revealed to you without change. To manage it without feeling proud, a gentle demeanor was required. It was necessary to have a strong mind in order to accept it without anxiety. I waited. I did nothing while you cried. I waited while you were uncertain. I witnessed you having a physical altercation. I was attentive, not indifferent. I was waiting for the moment when your humility and fortitude would be in sync. When your need for me outweighed your desire for attention, and your faith was strong enough to allow you to accept responsibility. The moment has arrived. You are not the person you were at the start of the season. You have a greater sense of stability. You are far less likely to react. The distinction is discernible. You are aware that you need my help more than ever. Because of that maturity, the truth can be revealed without fear of harm. The silence protected you from being exposed prematurely. Delays prevented you from reaching an immature level. Hidden seasons protect you from unstable foundations. Understand, my dear child, that this revelation is not withheld to harm you. Now is the time to fortify yourself. God's timing is exquisite. The gradual disclosure of information is not without wisdom. You wouldn't have been able to appreciate the journey if I had given you all of the information at once. You might have questioned my credibility when things got tough if I had revealed your identity to everyone before the test. You've been through a lot, including wrestling and growing up, and you can now recognize the truth and be certain that it's correct. I waited because you had previously been unprepared to hear this truth. However, you are now ready. Your humility is currently preventing you from progressing. Currently, your endurance is advantageous. Your sagacity has secured your salvation. You are currently sustained by your faith. This reality will not ease your pain. It will constrain you. You will not find it excessive. It will restore your balance. Absence was not attributed to the absence of noise. It was in the process of being ready. Delay did not indicate rejection. It was for the sake of protection. Waiting was not punishment. It was a matter of position. Finally, the curtain is lifted, allowing your heart to process the information presented. This message is approaching a critical milestone and requires your undivided attention. There is no more silence regarding your life. The concealed season is performing its intended function. Additionally, I need your immediate attention to the current situation. You should state, "I am prepared," in the comments section rather than waiting until you believe you are ready. No, when all of the required components are in place. I am ready to write in your current state. This is your assurance to heaven that you will no longer hide your true identity. My dearest child, you must now understand a phenomenon that has been occurring beneath the surface during your silent season. The adversary attempted to conceal this information about you. He was aware of the situation before you were. He was aware of the weight of the substance I'd inserted into you. He attempted to modify the seeds I had sown because he was unable to eradicate them. He was unable to conceal his identity, so he tried to trick you into believing you were someone else. There was a subtle spiritual opposition to you. It wasn't always thrilling. Loudness was not always present. It occasionally seemed to be a subtle attempt to discourage. Sometimes it was accompanied by thoughts that felt like your own. It occasionally expressed itself through the words of others. However, those periods were an attempt to change your self-perception. The adversary was aware that you would act differently if you truly discovered your identity in me. Your statements would differ. It would stop reducing your size. You would stop expressing regret about your existence. You would refuse to accept anything less than what I desired. And this would make his control over your mind less secure. He succeeded because he planned ahead. He spread falsehoods about your worth. He whispered, "Not enough." He explained that your mistakes shaped your identity until they appeared irreversible. He repeatedly recreated your failures. He slowed your progress and exacerbated your deficiencies. His intention was for you to notice nothing unusual. When you looked in the mirror, did you notice anything unusual or robust about yourself? You occasionally put your faith in him. At times, I believed his fabrications were louder than mine. You were under the impression that you were falling behind everyone else. You believed that you lacked something that other people possessed naturally. You believed that your difficulties demonstrated that you were not as intelligent, valuable, or desirable as others. It became one of his most useful tools for comparing objects. He prioritized people who appeared to be further ahead than you. He let you observe their accomplishments, confidence, and level of recognition. And gradually, the act of comparison began to undermine your confidence. You started evaluating yourself based on dates that were not meant for you. You began evaluating your progress using rules that were never meant to be applied to your life. Your attention was drawn away from personal development as a result of comparison. As a result, you failed to recognize the scope of your accomplishments. It hampered your ability to recognize your own strengths. It led you to believe that you were failing because you did not move in the same way as others. However, you were never asked to assume the identity of another person. You were summoned to become the person I created you to be. The attacks were premeditated. They were the intended victims. You were on the verge of accomplishing a significant goal when you became discouraged. Doubt grew as you delved deeper. Temptation became more potent as your discipline strengthened. These patterns were not random. They were attempts to raise doubts about your identity prior to your realization. You had peculiar but plausible thoughts. You are not distinctive. You will never get over this. You're in too much pain. It's too late for you. These assertions were incorrect. There were seeds sown with the expectation that they would grow. However, the adversary did not anticipate the following. Your spirit would not fully accept those fabrications. You were unkind to them. You did, in fact, have these experiences. You faced difficulties. However, your heart did not want to completely agree with them. That resistance demonstrated that you remained aware of the truth. The adversary tried to conceal your identity by instilling feelings of disappointment in you. He attempted to compel you to share your story by making you feel pain. He tried to make up for your past mistakes. He seemed to believe that the fact that you were having difficulty meant that he had forgotten about you. However, the reality persisted. Your spirit responded to every fabrication that was spread. All those who attempted to undermine your confidence were unsuccessful in some way. You may have had occasional doubts about your own abilities, but you did not abandon your beliefs completely. Although you may have had reservations about calling me, you did not hang up. So, you cannot be stripped of what I have implanted in you. Pay close attention to the contents of that sentence. You cannot be stripped of what I have implanted in you. Not through failure, rejection, lateness, comparison, or spiritual attack. I provide a robust sense of self. Events are incapable of removing it. It has not been modified by the adversary. It is not destroyed by adverse conditions. It is possible that it will go unnoticed for an extended period. It may be hidden beneath the weight of sorrow. Nonetheless, it remains intact. The adversary was limited to attempting to change the situation. He could never delete. You were subjected to attacks in order to make you question your identity. However, doubt does not diminish the truth. You only need to locate it once more. Even when you were at your most vulnerable, you could feel something urging you back to hope. I was that pull. In reality, I was able to keep my grip despite the pressure of the pull. Occasionally, you almost succumbed to the deception that you were ordinary in a negative sense, with nothing noteworthy or significant. However, each time you became comfortable with that idea, I received a completely different response from you. I told you quietly that you are more than you appear to be. The enemy desired that you forget your strength. He wished for you to reflect on your fatigue. He hoped that you would use each delay as an excuse to boycott the competition. Waiting, however, does not halt the design process. The pressure did not eliminate the objective. He tried to hide the truth by being ashamed. Regret past decisions. It's a shame to make mistakes. You should be ashamed of your vulnerabilities. Shame attempts to suppress your identity. Shame attempts to keep you from being observed. Shame tries to prevent you from recognizing the truth. However, I did not force you to accept humiliation. I meant for you to be able to move freely. Shame may have arrived at your doorstep, but it did not dominate your life. Despite all attempts to undermine it, the truth stood firm. I believe someone is reading this right now. You have been through a lot. You have been through ordeals that would have resulted in the death of others, but you continue to persevere, persist in your beliefs, and advance. Right now, I'd like you to celebrate your success. As proof, type "I survived" in the comments section. Not out of superiority, but because they are exceptional. It is not meant to boast, but rather to show that God has been on your side. So, when you type those words, you aren't just commenting. Even when you were unaware of your identity, you exuded a sense of stability. Even when you were weak, there was a sense of fortitude. Even though you didn't feel acknowledged, there was something significant. I inserted the object into you. The enemy is unable to produce anything. He is limited to bending. He is unable to modify the content that I have created. He can only attempt to divert your attention away from the situation. Additionally, there is the influence of distraction, which is temporary. The lie spoken over you does not reflect who you are. You're not concerned about your emotions. You are not the comparison that seeks to reduce your size. You cannot be stripped of what I have implanted in you. It could have been verified. It may have been called into question. It is possible that someone inquired about it, but it remains. The enemy attempted to conceal this truth from you because he knows that once you fully accept it, you will exude the confidence that comes from me. When you are overcome with fear, you will be unable to negotiate. There will be no more uncertainty in your work. You will stop criticizing yourself. The shift has a significant impact on everything. Understand this completely, my beloved child. Opposition is frequently a measure of worth. The intensity of the attack highlighted the importance of the items you carry. The pressure you felt was not an arbitrary phenomenon. It refers to your potential. However, the truth prevailed. I held it, and it remained beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to emerge. It's now time. You were never taken away. You were never overlooked. You were never at your lowest point. You cannot be stripped of what I have implanted in you. It remains at its current location. It's still alive. It is critical that you understand a specific point. Being in tune with God's voice is related to the current activities of God in your life. This message may have given the impression that heaven is directly communicating with you about your situation. If this is the case, I urge you to take a prophetic step. Register for this channel now. You are committing to God's prophetic promises for your life, not as an afterthought, but as a statement. Each subscription corresponds to your spiritual journey. Receiving notifications is like declaring to God that I am ready to hear His message. Execute the action instantly. Become accustomed to the release of energy from the heavens. It is stronger than any fabrication that tries to undermine it. I must now speak directly and firmly to your spirit, my beloved child. This is because the information I'm about to share is not amusing, lighthearted, or easily dismissed. A different method was used to select you. Pride and arrogance are not what distinguishes oneself. The majority of people will never have to bear this burden. You are not among the 99% who will never hear this. Many people will continue to walk without ever discovering what's inside them, but you were chosen to know. And once you know, you have to accept responsibility. Do not make the mistake of choosing something because it is easy to use. This is not the same as ease. When I say you were chosen in a different way, I don't promise an easy path. I am telling you about a calling that requires maturity. That's why you got checked out. That is why you were made better. That's why the silence before the truth was revealed left you feeling stretched. Many people want to be chosen, but few are willing to be disciplined in order to be chosen. A lot of people want power without humility. Many people want power without giving up. Many people want revelation without being held accountable. But you were created in secret because the possessions you carry cannot be given to someone who is unstable. You are not one of the 99% because your heart beats differently when under pressure. While others became more rigid, you grew more flexible. While others left, you persisted and remained. Although others chose anger, you faced difficulties before deciding on forgiveness. That is a substantial distinction. That distinction is significant. You have spiritual power that is hidden inside you. You don't have a complete understanding of it yet, but it's slowly coming together. Noise is not caused by power. It is not an expression of pride. It is unnecessary for you to deal with it. Despite the chaos, spiritual authority maintains order. It provides a sense of calm during storms. It changes the atmosphere without having to shout. That power grew while you were concealed. However, it expanded while you were not looking at it. It grew as you exerted yourself without being recognized. You didn't need a platform to build upon my work. You did not squander those peaceful years. The overlooked seasons were not devoid of life. You were authoritative because of them. Now that you are aware of this reality, you must change your walking style. Not arrogantly, but with composed confidence. It was certain, albeit not very loud. Refraining from comparing oneself to others and instead finding comfort in the unique way I created you. A different method was used to select you. Your path will be unique. I am currently experiencing the Holy Spirit's call to serve as a catalyst for change in the lives of others. Your thoughts are currently focused on someone who requires this information. They have the sense that no one remembers them. They have feelings of being overlooked. They appear to find their course of action illogical. God desires for you to communicate with them. At the moment, please distribute this video. Afterward, not. Understand when you recall. Right now. Simply click the share button to send this to the intended recipient. When you share, you aren't just sending content. Your schedule will differ from those of others. Your assignment will be distinct from all others. That is acceptable as well. That was the intended outcome. Comparison will work to reestablish itself. It will notify you that you are behind schedule, that you are not as skilled as others, or that you have missed something. However, you were chosen in a different manner. You are not defined by what measurements work for others. In evaluating you, I used an alternative standard. According to that standard, you are not deficient. Right now, you are exactly where you should be. Do not allow the enemy to reintroduce fear in your life after the truth has been revealed. Following the communication from heaven, refrain from repeating outdated fabrications. You are unusual in a spiritual sense. You were chosen in a unique way, and the essence of what I taught you must endure. You must begin your movements as though you are aware of this fact. Not with arrogance, but with calm. Not with pride, but with confidence. The solution is not to exert oneself, but to rest. You have been carrying too much weight for an extended period of time. It has been a long time since you were unaware of a particular issue. You're now aware. You now understand. You are now aware of what information has been discovered about you. In secret, your heart demonstrated its accuracy, and I was unable to respond. The experience you had was meant to shatter you. Despite the fact that it would have been easier to leave, you stayed. Despite the apparent impossibility, you evolved. And the heavens were watching. This reality has a significant impact on your lifestyle, my dear child. You are no longer allowed to discuss yourself in the same way that you did before. Please do not claim that you have been forgotten when I recall your name. Resist the urge to label oneself as weak when they have overcome numerous challenges that the majority of people could not. When God has designated you as unique, refrain from claiming to be ordinary. Words are powerful. It is critical to deliver a speech about oneself. It is critical that your words align with the information I have provided. Pronounce it aloud or to oneself. It is unusual for me in a spiritual sense. I was truly broken by the very thing that was meant to break me. I felt burdened by faith. Despite the temptation to leave, I persisted. Heaven has observed my emotions. Right now, I urge you to take action that will bring God's favor into your life. Please click the like button right now as you feel the weight of God's love on your heart. You are not just performing this maneuver for the sake of a video. This is a spiritual sign that God is transferring something to you, and you are accepting it. Consider the possibility that each time you click the like button, you are granting God's favor and making a contract with heaven. Your acceptance of the blessings He is about to bestow on you reflects your likeness. Refrain from doing it out of habit. Execute it as an act of faith. It is not a reflection of my personality. I've not been overlooked. I am not a weak person. I was selected in a unique way. Please give yourself some time to consider those words. Allow them to remove the outdated charges. It is time for them to stop spreading lies that have been repeated several times. The enemy was mistaken about your identity. You are exactly how I described you. I have also mentioned that you are unusual. You are loyal, as I previously stated. I informed you that you were prepared. The tranquility has ended. The concealed season has served its purpose. What was concealed will be revealed in a way that you do not fully understand. It is unlikely that you will become excessively assertive, arrogant, or boisterous. It is a fact that the contents of one's soul cannot be hidden indefinitely. Eventually, a concealed light will be discovered. A structure will be able to stand on an existing foundation. Deep roots will eventually produce fruit. You are currently experiencing visibility, not for your ego, but for my own glory. Visibility is not intended to boost your popularity. Rather, it is designed to help you meet my expectations. I know, the same fortitude that allows you to remain concealed will help you maintain your visibility. Maintaining a sense of humility and silence will help you remain calm when others are watching you. The public will see the steady flame of faith, which flickered but refused to die. You didn't arrive unprepared. You did not improve by chance. There was a reason for the process. They intended the pain to be painful. There was a reason for the delay. Finally, the objective is demonstrated. Do not be intimidated by it. Don't let fear convince you that you're the same person you were before embarking on this journey. You're not. You are noticeably different today. You've grown in size. You have undergone transformations that are extremely difficult to describe. However, I am able to quantify it. I believe you are prepared. I believe you are prepared. I assert that the truth about you cannot be hidden any longer because you are willing to accept it without shame, fear, or change. This is your chance, my beloved child. You've been anticipating this change. Not only have their circumstances changed, but so has their perception of their own identity. You are now aware of what information has been discovered about you. You now understand the importance of silence. You are now aware that the information I have instilled in you is irreversible. You now understand that someone else was chosen in your place. Proceed in accordance with reality. Allow it to help you decide on your next steps. Allow it to give you a sense of assurance. Allow it to silence any fabrications that attempt to resurface. My child, you have left me speechless, and heaven is still overjoyed with the discovery it has made in you. Before going any further, live your life as if you are aware of your identity. I would like you to perform one more act of faith to confirm this truth. Click the like button to declare that God's blessing is now entering your life. It's not about the button. The following describes the appropriate stance. With each like, you send a spiritual message that says, I am ready to accept the gifts that heaven is bestowing. Your click should confirm that you agree. Allow favor, blessings, and breakthrough to find you. I'm eager to click it right now. I'd like to make sure you remember this truth one last time before you leave. Their goal has been to make you forget your identity for an extended period of time. However, heaven has today served as a reminder. Today, you have been recognized, identified, and referred to as unusual. I now want you to commemorate this occasion in your own unique way. Please enter Amen again in the comments section. Not always, but as a seal, an official assurance that God's words spoken over you today cannot be revoked, stolen, or ignored. Carry this revelation with strength and humility. Be the person I've molded you to be. You do not need to exert yourself or complete tasks. You may simply take comfort in the fact that you are spiritually unique. You persisted. Although this message has ended, a new era has just begun for you. It is now clear who you really are. Silence ended. The concealed season has served its purpose. I encourage you to take another leap of faith at this time. If you have not already done so, we strongly encourage you to join this channel. It's not about the button. This is relevant to your status as a prophet. Obtaining a subscription is a spiritual way to connect with the message that God is sending to your generation. When you subscribe, I will not overlook the message that God is sending. I will continue to communicate with Him through His voice. I will follow His holy flow. Do it now as your final confirmation that you agree with all of the information presented to you today. Furthermore, by subscribing, you align yourself with the assurances that heaven has bestowed on your future. Before you leave, one last thing. The items you receive today are not exclusive to you. It is aimed at your spiritual family, friends, and family. God desires to use your story, obedience, and even the simple act of sharing to help another person make a significant life change. Distribute this message. Inform someone who requires it that they are spiritually unique. This should be given to someone who is willing to give up. A spiritual transformation occurs as you converse. The blessing you received begins to permeate your being. The act of donating something exacerbates the breakthrough you achieved. Do not hide this information. Distribute it promptly. Allow your obedience to work as a miracle for another person. I noticed you continued to stay. You've grown in size. I will be by your side indefinitely. Before we wrap up this captivating story, I recommend that we take a moment to reflect on this deep reality. This message was not discovered coincidentally. This is not just a coincidence. This is Archangel Michael's direct message to you. He extends his hand and invites you to a high vibrational, protected community where divine abundance is more than a hope, but a promise. This spiritual idea is quite simple. Nonetheless, it has the capacity to transform your entire life. You will not just gain blessings if you follow it. They will multiply and permeate all aspects of your existence. Accepting this invitation grants you immediate early access to potent content and heavenly insights that are now unavailable to the broader public. You now have the opportunity to enter a sacred area where you will receive unshakable support, spiritual guidance, and speedy progress towards your destiny. Do not miss out on this historic opportunity. Your triumph is near. Action is required. Your abundance is ready.
Cease all you are doing immediately. Focus. I, the Lord your God, am calling out to you with great urgency. There is an unseen occurrence taking place beyond your physical vision, growing in intensity every moment within the spiritual realm. This is a looming assault devised with craftiness, speed, and malevolent intent. The clear target of this assault is your life. That is precisely why I must alert you before any harm comes. I aim to prepare you. I seek to shield you. You sense it, do you not? That unseen weight on your thoughts. That unease in your heart. That feeling that something isn't right, even as everything appears perfectly fine to those around you. This feeling is more than just a notion. It is discernment. It is my spirit signaling to you that there is unseen activity attempting to hinder you. This force is striving to knock you down. It seeks to snatch away the gifts I have lovingly entrusted to you. My child, the adversary, has recognized the brilliance of my promise over you. He is aware that you are on the verge of entering a new season. He has caught a whiff of your blessings, heard the melodies of your praise. He has felt the power of your growing faith. This is precisely why he has risen with such fury. He knows that if you remain steadfast, if you refuse to surrender now, you will experience a breakthrough. You will advance. You will testify. Yet I am here. I disclose this to you because the hour is still ripe. With authority, I declare that no weapon fashioned against you shall succeed while you remain sheltered under my wings. Therefore, heed my words today with your heart, for they carry significant weight. This is urgent. This is prophetic. It can safeguard your very soul. Now I will deliver a prophecy that requires your activation in your life. Keep alert. Stay strong. Behold, I shall manifest clear and undeniable signs showcasing the blessings and miracles destined to enrich your life. I will unlock doors that may once have seemed closed. I will eliminate barriers that have hindered your progress. And I will generously pour out the bounty of my grace upon you. The heavens will shine brightly with stars as evidence that the promises I made regarding your future are coming to fruition. The gentle wind will carry the realization of my perfect plans for your life. In the most unforeseen circumstances, you will observe my mighty hand operating on your behalf. Keep your eyes wide open, for these signs will not escape your notice. Soon, you will witness abundance streaming into your life in astonishing ways. You will witness the multiplication of your efforts, doors swinging open in response to your faith, and opportunities aligning to foster your growth and success. Announce in the comments, "I have faith in you, Lord," as I embrace with open arms every blessing and promise you have declared. While you are here with me listening to my voice, dark spirits are being dispatched to dishearten, confuse, and isolate you.